Hello everyone, welcome back for day 5 in our lesson on abundant faith. Yesterday we left off kind of concluding the lesson with casting all of our cares upon Jesus because He cares for us. And I hope that you were able to go through the rest of the day yesterday or this morning, whatever the case may be for you before you watch this video, with casting your cares on Jesus because He does care for you. So if we take a look back again onto the boat, Mark 4:40 says, "Why are you so fearful, O ye of little faith?" This was Jesus' response to the disciples that woke Him up. Worry is faith in reverse. Worry is the feeling that your fears are going to come to pass. Worry is believing that God does not care and that things are just going to get worse. Worry takes over when we allow our mind to dwell on difficulties or troubles. We can become so consumed with worry that we maybe lose touch or become distant with our family, with our friends, with those around us because we're so focused on worrying about something. Experts on the subject of worry say that you should never worry alone. You are more likely to come up with solutions when you share your concerns with a trusted friend, a friend who cares. I've found this to be true going through my life. I'm really not very much of a worrier, but when I do worry, if I share that worry with somebody that I trust and someone that I respect, a lot of times they can kind of help me work through it. They can show me why it's not that big of a thing to worry about, maybe, or even if it is that big of a thing to worry about, that it's still going to come out okay, just to not dwell on that, to not focus on that thing. So when we become overcome with worry or fear, we have to go back to yesterday's lesson and remember to cast our cares on Jesus because He cares for us. Worry has to go somewhere. Worry will come out somewhere. We may think it just goes away, but I know there are scientific studies that show when we worry, it puts stress on our mind, it puts stress on our body. It has to go somewhere, so it may go into affecting our mind. It may go into affecting our stomach or our body or whatever the case may be. It has to go somewhere. So the best place for it to go is to go to Jesus. The best thing we can possibly do with worry is to give it to Jesus, to say, Jesus, this is what I'm worrying about. Jesus, these are the problems that I'm dealing with. This is the storm that I'm in right now. And I have come to grips enough to say, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to share it with you so that you can help me overcome this worry. When we place cast our cares on the Lord, we place ourselves in His care. We immediately put ourselves back into His hands and say, God, this is what I'm worried about. Please help me here. So whatever may be troubling you today, don't feel like you followed your faith into a circumstance and it's suddenly rocked your world and that's it. We need to understand that we have followed our faith into that circumstance and Jesus is going to take us through it. We have to have faith that Jesus still has the power to stop our storm and bring us safely to shore. In times of worry, we need to remember that God will sustain us. I'm going to finish with a story for you today. On April 3rd and 4th, 1974, there was a tornado outbreak, which is now called the Super Outbreak, that resulted in 148 tornadoes in 13 different states. Across the United States, 315 people were killed, more than 6,000 people were injured, and 27,000 families suffered property losses. The tornado in Xenia, Ohio, caused the most deaths of any tornado in the outbreak. In Ohio, 12 tornadoes touched down, killing 36 people. The Xenia tornado touched down at 4:30 p.m., 9 miles southwest of Xenia, and entered the city at about 10 minutes later. It continued approximately 32 miles into Clark County and ended up killing 32 people from Xenia to that county, so on the path. About half of the buildings in the city of 27,000 were damaged, and 300 homes were destroyed. 9 churches were destroyed, as well as 7 of the 12 schools in the city. More than 1,300 people were treated for injuries at Green Memorial Hospital. At that time, Steve Adams was the music minister of his church at a church in Xenia, Ohio, and the tornado was bearing down on the church as he thought of the safety for his wife. He tried to call her, but the church phone lines all had busy signals. Steve raced to his car in an attempt to go call his wife from a nearby payphone, but suddenly he saw the funnel cloud heading straight towards him. He knew he could not outrun or outmaneuver the tornado. So he stopped his car, ran into an auto store, dove under an overturned sofa for protection, and lay on the floor as the tornado destroyed the building around him. It also severely damaged the church where he served. When the storm passed and the wind subsided, Steve spent a long time digging himself out. The car he was driving was completely totaled, but he was relieved to learn that his wife and children were safe. Obviously, he was very thankful to God for sparing his life in this storm, and the experience that almost cost him his life inspired him to compose the song, Peace in the Midst of the Storm. I'm going to read the verse and chorus lyrics to you. It says, when the world that I've been living in collapses at my feet, when my life is shattered and torn, though I'm windswept and battered, I can cling to his cross to find peace in the midst of my storm. There is peace in the midst of my storm-tossed life. There's an anchor, there's a rock to cast my faith upon. Jesus rides in my vessel, so I'll fear no alarm. He gives me peace in the midst of my storm. I hope that this lesson this week has helped you and it has helped increase your faith. That no matter what you're going through right now, to know that Jesus is in the boat with you and He is there to help you. He will bring you through this storm. I hope that you all have a blessed rest of the weekend. You take care, and we'll see you again on Sunday.